jobs and apply these concepts. So just stay tuned. So as John stated, today's session is about develop and deploy fast using SFDX. How a senior programmer usually do very fast development and deployment, and you will get to learn those concepts. And this is not going to be a totally slide-based session. In that I'm trying to little bit do a hands-on as well in the second half of the session. Okay, so having said that, moving ahead. Oops. Okay, yeah. My name is Gaurav Yadav, as John stated, and if you didn't attended my previous sessions, I am a very active community speaker, and I usually speak in some of the communities. And I am also a chapter leader for the Slack community, Dehradun. I am totally having 11 years of experience. And as John stated, around 9 years of experience into the Salesforce world. And I am also running a YouTube channel that is quite new, which is Discover Salesforce with Gaurav Yadav. I will give you the link. If you like my content today, then you can go ahead and check out my other contents as well. And also into the leadership board of the Slack, I am at the number 5 position. That's the kind of Stack Overflow thing, and you can give answers over there. So having said that, given my introduction, I am moving ahead. So sessions rule. Today, it should not be like that. I am speaking only one way. We'll do some of the brainstormings and discussions. As soon as you will feel that you want to understand, don't wait. Just use raise your hand button in the bottom, and you can also put your comments into the chat. I am closely monitoring that chat as well on my another screen. John, it is possible to unmute.
Okay, sure. I will do that. If someone asks question, I will unmute.
Yeah. Perfect. Then we'll have an effective thing. Okay, so today's target audience is our Salesforce developers and Salesforce administrators, and though it is not limited to them, and being as a Salesforce developer, you will be learning some advanced concept, and being as a Salesforce administrator, this is going to be your first step that how you can start your journey into the development space. So for the software requirement for the today's session, we will be needing a VS Code. We will be needing Salesforce DX CLI, and we will also need a Salesforce extension pack for the VS Code. Don't worry if you are not having these 3 things. I will guide you guys how to install all of these 3 things from the websites. Okay, so agenda is very simple. So most of us are aware of SFDX or VS Code or these things, but some of us may not be aware. So just to keeping the streamline so that everyone is on the same page, I will quickly walk you guys through before VS Code, what is the developer console struggles, why VS Code for the Salesforce development, and introduction to Salesforce DX, setting up of the environment, as I stated. If you have still not using VS Code, so I will guide you how to set up your environment. Then the part 2 is around the hands-on, where we will go to the Salesforce CLI in action, and we will try to create our first Apex class. And you will notice I will not log into the org at all. I will log into the org in between just to show you guys that whatever I am doing from my VS Code, it is happening right in the real time into our org. So we'll explain how to push and pull code between the local and the remote org. And the main agenda of today is how we can do the debugging and logging from the VS Code itself. No need to go to the Salesforce setup or Salesforce developer console for that as well. And running of the Apex test classes directly from the VS Code. So this is the agenda. So very first question, you guys can put your answers into the chat. How many of you use VS Code, and how many of you heard the term Salesforce DX before? If anyone who has not heard, you can put yes. Don't be shy. We are all learning. Okay, nice. Shrikant didn't use either VS Code, and yeah, Shweta is also using, but not that much. Pankaj is using. Venkatesh is not using. Okay, okay, got it. Thanks for your response. Yeah, Shekhar is using for learning LWC. Yes, that's the main thing. People nowadays are going to the VS Code because they want to learn LWC. So we do have a quite Salesforce DX not heard Ramakant. Okay, perfect. We do have a mix of the audience. So it is going to be very interesting and you will learn a lot of things. And if you want to do along with me, uh, we can wait. You guys can turn on your laptop as well if you want. As the agenda stated or the title stated, it's a hands-on session. And if you guys want, you can go side by side along with me. Okay. So before VS Code or the developer console struggles, and some of you are still not using VS Code, so you guys must be using your developer console. If you are a developer and if you are an admin as well, sometimes you may be using developer console just for running your SOQL queries and all of those things. So what are the limitations or the pain points of the developer consoles? Are it is having a limited functionality like test editing is basic, very basic and naive. Debugging is a little bit very difficult. There is no version controlling. What I mean to say that version controlling is that there is always a very high probability that you will override each other code. And there is a manual project management, meaning that once you have developed it and you have to move to the another org, you have to do manually. And there are some of the bottlenecks as well that you have to do a lot of context switching. Developer console is very slow, and you have to do a lot of context switching between your Salesforce org and the developer console. There is a collaboration challenge, and there is a very limited scope of customization because developer console works on the browser based thing. Okay, so why we choose VS Code? So if for those who has not previously using VS Code, I'm going back. So this is how VS Code look like, and you can customize it more as per your need. And so that's a little bit glimpse how VS Code look like. Why to choose VS Code for the Salesforce development? It's a versatile code editor. It provides a lot of shortcuts, and you can build your own shortcuts for your own productivity. It is having multi-language support. Multi-language support meaning multi-language programming support. It handles Apex, other programming languages, especially for the LWC. It supports JavaScript. And if you are interested in other programming languages like Node, Python, Bash script, that is being supported directly from the VS Code. And also it is having Salesforce DX integrations. So those who don't heard Salesforce DX term, Salesforce DX means Salesforce Developer Experience. What Salesforce is doing, Salesforce from past 4-5 years or maybe around 2 years, Salesforce is also investing a lot into the developers experience. They invest into the customer experience. Now they have started into the developer experience as well. If our developers are not productive, how they will develop things faster for our customers? So DX meaning a developer experience. Sorry. And it is having extensive plugins for the ecosystem. So as I stated that in the developer console, you cannot install any of the plugins. Plugins means like into the Chrome, you can install some of the extensions to increase your day-to-day productivity. So same way into the VS Code, you can install a lot of the plugins and that will increase your productivity. And some of the plugins are already and natively provided by Salesforce. And VS Code is having its own marketplace where you can install a lot of plugins, free plugins as well as paid plugins as well, depend on your need. So I touched a little bit. DX is a developer experience. It is a modern approach of development. It will streamline your development and collaboration. And the core concepts are for the DX are, you will heard a lot of projects, scratch orgs, and the source control. Projects means you can organize your code and metadata into the structured manner. In the developer console, what we usually do, if I want to take the backup, I can usually create a folder into my local machine, copy that code. So that is structured manner. And sometimes we share with each other, okay, this is the backup of my code through the OneDrive or through the email. So those are not the standard mechanism of doing the development once you will go to the big organization or go to the matured organization. Scratch org. Scratch orgs are your own playground. You guys must be having Trailhead, and in Trailhead you can create the playground. So it is exactly the same concept. From your production org, you can create the scratch org. You are the sole owner of that scratch org. That scratch org will be created, I think, for 7 to 15 days, and you can play around whatever you want to do things. It is having all the features just like of the production or your sandbox, and you can play around. If anything goes wrong, no worries. It is just a scratch org. Anyways, it is going to be deleted. So all the development. So it is kind of it's kind of your local environment where you can do things. And if you are coming from the different programming background or from different software development background, you must be aware that you can run your code locally, but that is not possible into the Salesforce. So just to overcome that kind of thing, Salesforce is having a scratch org concept. Now we do have a source control as well. Yes, Pankaj is right. It is 1 to 30 days. Thanks, Pankaj. Scratch org is from 1 to 30 days. So guys, feel free to correct me. I am also a learner. If I stated some, I do have slip of tongue, so you can correct me as well. I know, I'm sure there are more people into the audience who know better than me as well. So thanks for correcting me, Pankaj, over there. So we do have a source control Git. We can track the code changes, collaborate effectively, as I stated. So source controlling is a very old concept into the software engineering, but it is being introduced into the Salesforce ecosystem recently. Slowly, people are adopting it. So what is a source control? Like you are developing something, instead of putting as a backup into your local org, what you can do, you can put it into the source control system. And from the source control system, it is visible to everyone. Everyone can take a look on it. Okay, so that's the source control system. So, but today we are not going to touch on that one. Today we are just scratching the surface of the VS Code. Okay, so I put a screenshot over here. The better organization of the project, how the better organization of the project look like. So it will be a very nice structure for you, and the project structure look like this. And in the classes, you will guess your Apex classes will go into the classes, your LWC will go into the LWC component, your objects will go into the objects folder, your triggers will go into the triggers folder. And this is being done automatically. You no need to create manually these folders and put your files into these folders. Okay, so how to set up the environment? Okay, I am just removing from the presentation mode. So you can download the VS Code from this website. Still, who has not done it yet, I am putting into the chat the URL. You can download. I am using currently Mac, so it is showing me download for Mac. If you may be using some another machine, you will you will get the option accordingly. Once you download this VS Code, what will happen? So you have to install the Salesforce CLI. That is the second step. So Salesforce CLI installing, there are two mechanisms. Directly you can install from the Salesforce website. This is the website side by side. I am putting the link over here. So again, as per your operating system, you can download the Salesforce CLI. So once these two things are being done, now it's the time for installing the Salesforce extension pack. So, but before installing the Salesforce extension pack, open your VS Code. So your VS Code looks like this once it is being first opened. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I am putting it into, if I can. What is it? Is not allowing me to change the color. I thought of changing the color so that it will be visible correctly to you. But anyways, so it is looking like this. And once you go to the here, left hand side, extreme left hand side, you will able to see these extensions. Okay, you will click on the extensions and it will load all the extensions recommended installed, and you can search for Salesforce extension pack. So there are two options available. You can install either of them. Salesforce extension pack one contains, you will see bottom over here, 9. It is a pack of 9 plugins, and this is the pack of 14 plugins. So what are those plugins? Those extension packs, plugins of the Apex Interactive Debugger, Apex Replay Debugger, Salesforce CLI integrations, Visual Studio Code, SOQL, and other things. So this is the first step for the software requirement. Once you have done this, and now we are going to set up the environment. Let me put this aside now, because now we will directly go to this one. Let me close this. And so very first thing is creation of the project, how to create the project, so that it will come up with a nice structure. So for installing of the creation of the project, you have to open the command palette, Control Shift P or Windows Shift P if you are using Mac, and you will start seeing this SFDX command over here. SFDX, create a project. Once you click on it, it will take some time, and it will show you which kind of project you want to create. So we are going with a standard project, so that it will create few standard folders. So I am putting the name of the project is like session demo 1, and you will hit enter, and it will ask you from where you want to create. I am selecting my code base, create a project. It will do something, some magical things, and here you go. So Salesforce, so this is possible with the help of the combination of the Salesforce CLI as well as the Salesforce DX. So it created a project with a basic folder structure for me that I was showing in the starting, that it is having Apex classes folder for the classes, LWC layouts, and all of those things. So this is the first thing. Once you start doing things, maybe some of you have already done this, and some of you may not already aware of how to create the project. So this is a good practice for you. Now the second step is, I do have created the project. Now the second step is you have to authorize yourself into the Salesforce org so that you guys can start working on it. So how to authorize yourself into the Salesforce org? So for doing that, you have to again open the command palette, Command Shift P or Control Shift P, SFDX, authorize an org. Once you click enter over here, so I am directly going to authorize my production org, my dev org, which is login.salesforce.com. And if you want, you can choose the test.salesforce.com and as well as your custom domain org as well. I hit enter. I can give name as God of Dev. This is the alias. And this is very important because at a time you can authorize multiple orgs, and on which org you want to send the request, that will be defined based on the alias. So it is very important. Just remember the alias create the alias which are meaningful so that later on you will not forget. Okay, I'll hit enter. What it is going to do, it is going to open up a browser for me. Let me bring that browser. Where it goes. Okay, I am just copy pasting it open in my another browser. So here you can just simply log in with your credentials. Okay, so it is saying you are successfully logged in. Now you can close this tab. You can close this tab, and once you will go back to your browser, your VS Code, what it will do, at the bottom right hand side corner, you will see authorize and org range successfully, and in the bottom left hand side, you will see your alias name Gaurav that I do have created. So this is the second step, how you can connect with your org. So how I can validate that I do have connected with my org. So here, because of the extension pack, there is a org browser, which is coming up. What org browser meaning? It will load your complete org within your VS Code, your org in the metadata format. So in the org browser, it is saying no default org is being set. Okay, now it load everything. What are the Apex classes present? What are the different things present on my org? So it will load everything. So this is just to validate whether your okay. I'm zooming in. Okay, now I feel it is fine.
Yes, it is good cover, sir.
I take it. Okay, perfect. So yes, so it is the first way of validating whether you have correctly authorized or not. So okay, now let's start doing the development, some development. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to create an Apex class and going to deploy it into my org. So before creation of that one, let me go back to my org and check whether I am having any of the Apex class or not. I'm going to create the Apex class with the name example. So just I am checking and to show you guys that whatever I'm doing directly from the VS Code. So in the real or the day to day, you no need to go. So the class name with the name of example, I don't have any class name with the name of example. So let's create it. So you have to open the command palette, Control Shift P, Command Shift P, SFDX, colon, create a Apex class. Here it will go, give a desired name. I am giving the Apex class name as example, and it will create into, you can select this by default that into the classes folder. Okay, so here we go. Here is our first Apex class that is being created. So just so that we can utilize our time very effectively. So I'm just copy pasting the code from my sample project. So we do have created the Apex class name example, and we do have created a public static method execute and put it. We have put also a debug statement, and I do have commented out this this line as of now. I will show you later. So we do have created the Apex class. Now the next step is how we can deploy this Apex class to the org. So there are multiple options of deploying to the org. What people usually do, what other developers usually do, that I do have seen, is they can right click on it and this one, deploy this source to the org. This is a effective method, but it is again having a limitation, so that if you want to deploy multiple files all together, you have to click one by, go to each and every file, deploy this source to the org. So another way of doing what you can do, you can copy the relative path of this. You can start typing command SFDX force colon source colon deploy hyphen p. Hyphen p means the path you want to deploy. You can put your relative path and comma separatedly, you can also put your multiple class files here. And there are certain extensions as well, -p, -x, and others. I'm not going to that. I'm just putting a simplest one, -p. You can put your class name and just hit enter. It will start doing the deployment. And within 1 second, it deployed. Okay, let's go back whether it is deployed or not. Let's refresh this. Okay, here we go. I do have just created my Apex class at 10:30 a.m. and time is 10:30 a.m. Perfect. So we do have created the Apex class. We have deployed it. Now the second thing you will say, okay, I do have deployed it, but I do want to debug this Apex class. I want to validate whether this Apex class is running fine or not. For that, Gaurav, I do need to open the developer console. So for that as well, I can say no, it is not possible. It is possible with the VS Code as well. No need to go to the developer console. In the developer console, what we usually do, we open the developer console, go to the anonymous window. What we will do, let me try to mimic it. We usually example.execute, put this and try to execute in the anonymous window. So this is also possible with the VS Code. Again, multiple ways. The first way is you create a new file, any new text editor you can open up, and you can select the text just like of the developer console, open the command palette, control shift P, command shift P, SFDX, and start typing execute anonymous Apex with the currently selected text. So you hit enter, what you will see, it executed, and below you see your output, whether it is showing your output or not. Yes, user debug, this is an execute. So this is the one way of doing it. Very naive way, or the easiest way, and general developers usually follow this. Another way of doing is the command way. Since we are learning commands, sf apex run, hit enter. Now what it do? It open a prompt for you. You can start typing your anonymous window code. Hit enter, and as it stated, press Ctrl D when you are finished. You can hit enter. You can start typing as much as possible, and once you're done, hit Ctrl D. So what it will do? I hit Ctrl D and it executed immediately. This is a little bit faster than this. Execute anonymous was taking a little bit more time, so I like this approach. So it totally depends on you which approach you want to do. Okay. So now you will say, okay, Gaurav, we do have executed it. We are doing the debugging, but developer console provides a better way of doing the debugging. I can check the logs. In this case as well, I have to go to the Salesforce org or to the developer console to open up the logs as well. Okay, so this is also possible with the help of the VS Code, guys. So I am opening a new terminal. How to open a new terminal? You can go to right-hand side, click on plus, and it will open a new terminal window for you. What I usually do, I can right-click on this terminal, and what I can do, move this terminal into the editor area. So it will send my terminal into the top, so that I can type the code here, see the code on top. Isn't it looking so cool that you may be looking at some other developers, other programming developers? Okay, how cool they are that now these things are possible into the Salesforce as well. So let's try to see the logs. So SF, we do have a command for that, SF apex tail log, hit enter. So what it will do, no need to go to the setup, go to the debug logs, create a debug log entry. It is doing automatically all of those steps for you. So you will become more productive over here. And in the low window, let me clear this out. What I'm going to do, sf apex run, so that I can type my command example.execute. And on top, I can see my logs, pressing Ctrl D. And boom, you go. These are all of your logs, what you usually see in the setup. But next question you will ask, okay, Gaurav, it is fine, but again, setup is giving me a flexibility to download the logs, and what should I do on that? So now here I am little bit adding the flavor of bash scripting. So that's the power of CLI. So whatever commands you are writing, you can embed your command with the other bash script commands already available. So what I can do now, I'm going to save this log directly into the file. So what I'm going to do, I just SFDX SFFX log tail, and I am sending this output to the file name apex1.log. And let me show you whether I am having any such file in my current directory structure. No, I am not having any such. So what it is going to do, it is going to send the output into that file so that you can save the logs and do the debugging later on. I just hit enter. I am going lower terminal, SFFX run. Okay, example.execute. Hit enter, Control D, and now this time it will not show your output onto the standard terminal. Where it shows, where it goes, it added all of these into this apex log file. Okay, looks good. It is exactly the same logs which you usually get it from your setup. Okay, so here I got all the logs. Again, developer will ask, okay, it is fine, but it is not showing that much colors, or it is all showing black and white and all of those things. So let's start adding some color as well. So we do have many extensions. Currently, I am adding -- color. So it is going to add some color into your logs. Excuse me. So SF apex run example.execute Control D, and it added some colors. User info is coming in the green, and method exit, user debug is coming into the green, and like that. So okay, this is also fine, but developer console also giving me the capability that I can filter out my user.debug logs and whatever filter I do want. So let's go ahead and filter only your debug logs. So coming out of this window, Control C, press Control C. It will take some time and it will exit from there. Okay, let me clear this out. Once you click up key from your keyboard, it will show up all the previously executed command for yourself. So I'm going to SFFX log, SFFX tail log -- color. And now I am going to add pipe symbol. Now this is again, we are entering into the little bit into the bash scripting. Pipe symbol grep. What I want to grep, I want to grep user debug. This is the keyword that I want to grep. Just hit enter and go to your lower window and start again example.execute Control D. Here you go. Now I am not seeing a lot of information. I am only interested in my debug log. It is showing me debug log. Okay, still some of you may say, okay, Gaurav, this is fine. I am fetching the debug log. I am saving the files into the apex log as well, apex log file as well. So one person is asking, any specific difference between dev console and SFDX? So means you wanted to say Salesforce developer console, right? Dev console means Salesforce developer console. Okay, these are the lot of difference you are seeing here. So Salesforce developer console is very slow. I do have already covered in the starting. and it is a browser-based tool. It is not giving you a lot of flexibility of doing things. With the SFDX commands, sky is the limit. You can do a lot of things, but in the developer console, you are confined with that within that space, and it is not giving you the opportunity to customize as per your need. And I am showing you the customization, all the customization that you can do. And later on, you can combine all of these commands and put it into a bash script as well, so that all of these commands will be executed automatically. So these are the powerful features that you can do with the Salesforce DX. Okay, so where I showed you the debug log. Now someone will say, okay, my my code may be having some exception. So for exception thing, I was reserving this line of code. So what this line of code will do, select ID from account where name equal to Gaurav Yadav limit 1. Anyone quickly, whether this line will give any exception or not. If I don't have account name Gaurav Yadav into my org. Anyone? Okay, Pankaj is saying no, it will not give any exception. Anyone else want to try? Okay, no worries. Shrikant, not a null pointer exception, but it is going to give list has no row for assignment. If I don't have an account with the name of Gaurav Yadav and I'm putting it limit 1 and I'm directly assigning it to a single S object variable, it will throw an exception. List has no row for assignment. So let me quickly copy this relative path name. Let me deploy this to the org SFDX. Source colon deploy -p. Okay, deployment is done. Now let me clear this out and let's open my log in a very colorful way. Okay, now bottom SFDX run example dot execute. So you are seeing we have developed things, deployed things from the VS Code. Now we slowly entered into the debugging as well from the VS Code. It entered Control D. Okay, it has failed. Query exception list has no row for assignment to the S object. It also stated here and in the logs as well, fault error. Query.error list has no row for assignment to the S object. Okay, so by giving this example, where I was going was, let's say some of you may say, Gaurav, you have told us that how to filter out the logs for the user debug, but the developer console is giving options, multiple checkbox, multiple select kind of thing. Okay, so it is it gives sometimes option of that one that you can filter out based on the multiple things. So there I'm going how to filter out your logs with the multiple things. So again, a little bit of scripting thing, pipe symbol grep -e. Whatever you want to grep, put it into the single quotes. The first keyword I want to grep again, or I want to grep error. Hit enter. Okay. So we put it in a colorful mode. We don't like black and white. SFDX run example dot execute Control D. And here you go. This is an execute and I got an error as well. So now I'm grabbing multiple things all together. So I'm taking a pause over here. Just let me know if you have any doubt. Vijay, what is the extension for the bash script? No extension for bash script. It is a command line thing. It will you will get by default into your machine. Okay, no doubts. I'm taking it as yes. We do have a quite intelligent audience today. No worries. So, but people will say, Gaurav, you have told writing the Apex class, doing the debug log, but I bet you that you have to open the developer console to execute the SOQL query because we have been advised that whenever you are writing Apex class and using the SOQL query, try to execute that SOQL query. So for that, I have to open the developer console. So my dear friend, I am going to the next one, how you can directly execute the SOQL query from your VS Code itself. You can select this SOQL query, open the command palette, Command Shift P, Control Shift P, SFDX colon SOQL, execute SOQL query with the current selected text. I am hitting enter, REST API, and where is my cursor goes? Okay, it is saying. Yeah, here it is. Okay, I'm expanding it. So you see, it queries everything, ID, whatever I have given. Let's add one more column. So for this as well, I am not going to the developer console and I didn't log into my Salesforce org at all. I just log into my Salesforce org just to show you guys initially that I don't have any example class in my org. So let's try to execute this. Command Shift P, execute SOQL with the currently selected text, REST API, hit enter. It is querying data and boom, you will see now two columns. One is for the ID, one is for the name. One way of doing it. Again, I'm telling you multiple ways of doing things. Let's go the query way of doing things because we are running Salesforce CLI query as well. So query for this is SF data query hyphen query, and in the quotes, I can start typing my query. Select ID from account, just simply hit enter. It will query data and show it to you. So when I was having that exception of this one, so what I should have done is I should have this select execute SOQL query with the current selected text, executed date REST API, and see whether it is returning any data or not, or maybe probably it will. So it is row retrieves 0. So that's where it was having problem. So again, I'm commenting this out. Let me do it. And again, copy the relative path and deploy this. SFDX source colon deploy -p. So we can go to the next step. Now you will say, okay, Gaurav, everything is looking good, fantastic. You told us very good things. But what about the Apex test classes? For executing the Apex test classes, I do need to open the developer console. Again, my dear friend, no. Again, let's create an Apex class. Example test. Okay, just to save the time, let me copy paste this code. Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay, I just copy pasted. Okay, so this is the test class, but this is a very simple test class. What it is doing, it is having annotation at the rate is test, so that it will qualify for the test class. And it is having test execute and example.execute. We are testing on this one. So very quickly, copy relative path, SFDX, source colon deploy -p. Oops. Put your relative path name, deploy it. Okay, it is being deployed. So Santanu is asking, how do I pass a dynamic params for that selected query to run? Okay, so Santanu, it is not possible to pass the dynamic params because as same possible into the developer console as well. When you execute the query, in executing the query, you it does not allow you to pass the dynamic params. So that is thing. So one another way is you can write your small test script, anonymous window script, and you can do it that way. So that is the one of the easiest option. But running the SOQL statement, in fact, if you are using any of the Chrome extension or anything, that will also not allow you to pass any of the dynamic params. Okay. Okay, I do have deployed my Apex test class. One more question: can you show us to move the code to the higher environment? Okay, Shantanu, if the time permits, I can take it at the last. We do have only remain 10 minutes, so I'm going a little bit fast here. So let's try to run this Apex class as well. SF Apex run test hyphen class names, and you can put your class name over here, example test, and that's it, and hit enter. It will go, try to execute. Okay, I forgot one thing. So our test class execution always happen in a asynchronous way. So for getting the result, I have to put this. So this is the command for, so my test rain pass. But you don't have to wait for test one. There is one more keyword, synchronous. So that what it will do, it will try to execute our Apex class in a synchronous manner, and you will get your result immediately that is being passed. So someone will say, okay, Gaurav, that is fine, but if I am executing the Apex class and I got the errors or exceptions, I do need to debug, open the log. No, friend, you have to go to the same way. You just open your Apex log tail, execute your Apex test class from here. My test class passes. It generated any log? Yes, it generated any log. You feel any magical things over here? That is still I didn't log into the org. So this is very powerful. Someone will say, okay, Gaurav, I do need to run a specific test methods well. So what you can do, you just let's say currently my Apex class is having only single test, but let's say my Apex class is having multiple test methods, and I want to execute only one hyphen test in place of the class names, just tests, okay, and put my test name here, test execute, and hit enter. Same way, you can comma separately put multiple test method here. So it executed only one test, and it's saying it is passed. Okay, so now you will say, okay, Gaurav, that is fine, but still I'm not convinced. For checking my code coverage, still have to go to the developer console. No, again, synchronous hyphen code coverage is your friend over here. What you can do, code coverage, and here example is having my 100% code coverage. So again, some of the things you will say that, okay, one of my other friends is also working on this example one, and he added some of the things into the example one. How I can get that things into my local machine. So multiple ways. Again, right click, retrieve this source from the org, or second way is you can do the copy relative path, and again SFDX force colon source colon retrieve, and I made a spelling mistake, retrieve, and hyphen C, and the path, whichever you want to retrieve. So what it will do, if someone make the directly changes or the changes that is not in your local machine exist into your org, you can directly retrieve it from here. Okay, that's the retrieval path. Few productive commands. Let's say someone will say, okay, Gaurav, I do need to open the org just to do XYZ things. Again, what I can do, force org open, hit enter. It will open an org for me. I don't need to go to the login.salesforce.com page. Let me show you guys. Close this. And I didn't log in. I didn't open up login.salesforce.com. It opened automatically for me. Okay, directly into the setup page. One more way, here bottom left hand side, you will see this page. You can just click on this one, and again it will try to open up in the backend. It is try to execute the same command, and it is also giving you the flexibility. SF.org open. Let's say I do have two browsers. I can type -- browser, and you can put Chrome. I want to open this on the Chrome browser, and it open up over here in my Chrome browser as well. So these are the small productive things that we want to do. Okay. Okay, going back to the PPT, what we have learned so far. So we have learned creation of the. Okay, one more thing I totally forgot. If you like these sessions, these kind of sessions, I am putting my LinkedIn link as well as my YouTube link. Give me a subscribe on the YouTube. That will motivate me. I will continue creating these kind of contents. And okay, so what we have learned today, we have learned creation of the Apex class, deploying of the Apex class, running Apex class from the command palette, from the CLI. We are checking out directly in the output terminal logs. We were checking with the CLI commands. We were having color option. We have saving the file into the local. We added the filter just for the debug log, for the error, single filter, multiple filter. And also we have created the test class, deployed it, then running the test class from the VS Code. We have checked the log for running the test class, only running a specific test method, checking the code coverage. We have also queried directly from the command palette and from the CLI, and then at last we open up the org. Floor is yours, guys. If you want to add any comment, you want to ask any questions and specific thing, if you want one more session from me, you can connect to John and tell us which session you want to. And just as I stated, please subscribe to my YouTube chat. We give a good positive vibes. So Santanu, how we can move code from the DevOps using this command? I'm coming to your question. So you can do, as I initially stated, you see, I do have authorized multiple orgs over here. You can change your org, default org for something else, and you can just run SFDX // deploy -p that. Or if you don't want to do that as well, you don't want to change your default org as well, in each of every command, let's say you want to do the deploy, retrieve, running the test classes in a specific org -u and your org name, like this one, Gaurav Dev. And what it is going to do, it is going to deploy, you see, deploying metadata to this one, Gaurav Yadav. So you can give the org name over here as well. Okay. Okay, thank you, Alok. Any more questions? Okay, John, any last comment from your side?
There is no other question. Thank you for the informative session, Gaurav. Actually, it is very useful for the Trailblazers. In future, I am expecting more sessions from you in our group.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. And just let me know, guys, what you want to learn. If you have any doubts regarding this session as well, you can directly ping me on the LinkedIn as well. I will try to help you out.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. And thank you, Gaurav, sir, for giving time for the today's session. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye.